So I think we are live. So welcome everyone to Meshery's development meeting, which is a weekly call that happens every Wednesday. And so today too, it's October 30th, and so we will be talking about various PRs and issues that you have all been working on. Meshery is one of the projects that Layer 5 community stewards and is also ninth fastest growing CNCF project. So there are a couple of talks around Meshery, what it does and what features it has to offer that you all can read. Link to those docs will be dropped into the chat box in Zoom. Also, hopefully you all can see these meeting minutes that we'll be referring to while discussing the agenda items. Link to this talks is also in chat, but I'll once again go ahead and share just in case some of you are just joining. You all are encouraged to write your name in the attendees list, as Amit is right now doing. You also can mention any agenda item that you want to talk about that is on Mishri. So go ahead and mention them in this talk. With that, we'll be following our Layer 5 tradition, and that is any newcomer on the call, they can go ahead and introduce themselves. I'm taking a look at the participants list and wonder if it's first time for Marian to join this call. If yes, do you mind going ahead and giving your intro?
Hi, everyone.
Hi, welcome to the call.
Thank you. This is my first time actually joining last week. So yeah, I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you for your intro, Marian. And just in case you would like the community members to know more about which data stack you're working with and how did you come to know about the community, you also can share that. So you also can use chat to do that. Thanks for joining the call. And looks like that is it. That is all for the newcomers. So then we'll be going ahead with agenda items. The first topic is from Lee on KubeCon. So Lee, do you mind sharing about this?
Oh yeah, sure. So KubeCon is coming up in a week and a half, KubeCon NA anyway, for the 2024 edition. There are about 3 sessions, I think, that are about Meshery. Those 3 sessions are listed here. I don't know so if you're attending in person, great. Come join, come ask questions, come help represent the project. One of the sessions is a Contrib Fest. So it'll be an hour and a half of sitting down with contributors and helping people get going. For the most part, it's like folks that are relatively new to the project. It's an opportunity to sit down with some maintainers and get your environment set up, kind of work through an initial issue. And so, yeah, if you're going to be there in person, wonderful. I don't think that there's a virtual option, or I don't think there's a virtual option for any of the conference. I do think that any number of the sessions will be recorded and posted. I don't know if there's any live streaming, but if you guys know of anyone that's attending, let them know to come to these sessions. Also, there are all kinds of Kubernetes community days and cloud native CNCF meetups and KubeCon India and KubeCon China and KubeCon EU and many conferences in which all of you are encouraged to represent Meshery, or go out and talk about the things that you've worked on here, or things that you maybe haven't worked on but just want to share with others. Like that type of a thing is always encouraged and supported. If you want to do it but you don't have an idea, just ask. There's lots of things to chat about. Or maybe you want to do it but you don't know of a meetup that is ready to receive someone to talk about Meshery. I know of a lot of meetups. We get asked all the time. So yeah, good. Anyway, we're going to be at KubeCon NA. One of the things that we're going to talk about in the session, the CNCF Tag Network session, we just got done going over this last week inside of the CNCF Technical Advisory Group network. That is the relationships that Meshery as a project is defining, the relationships between different, Kubernetes-based resources, how they interact with one another, how they affect one another. That will be certainly part of the topic of discussion in Tag Network in that session. So good. All right. Well, yeah, so that's in a week and a half.
Thank you, Lee.
Yeah, that week, I do expect, since we're on the topic of KubeCon and the week of KubeCon, we will continue to hold this, the weekly development meeting, that Wednesday. And so, for my part, I may or may not be absent. I have to go check the schedule, but doesn't matter. You guys will continue without me, so.
Yeah, thanks. We will. So for anyone who might be interested in taking a look at this event, I have dropped the link in chat that you all can use to go and check it out. So then we have this item on UI from the Deviants, but looks like we are missing the Deviants on call. So I'll be taking this link of the PR and will be dropping in chat. So feel free to give it a review and also offer some feedback. Next up, we have item from Sudhanshu. So I do think Sudhanshu is on call. Sudhanshu, do you mind giving your update?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so there were like we have a performance profile wizard in like performance, so we can create our own performance and test our configurations. So there were like basically few bugs or like UX issues which we were facing while creating and running our test. So first of all, like what performance we created that was not mentioned, and like lots of notifications, and this notification doesn't mean sense, like is not was giving a user a proper like message, and like few other issues like model was not closing. So there was a PR like to fix some of these issues, like whenever we run a test and this test completes, so the model will not like be in the face of the user, it will close. And the notification has been improved, like unable to pre-configure boards, like when in Kubernetes cluster is not connected. So that's why the like statistics is not being gathered. And other things like, though I've added a edit profile, because when we used to run test, a profile was being also, a model was also, wizard was also opening, and test was running parallelly. So I've just separated this edit profile, but I just need to know this feedback that we already have this edit profile. So at the back of this card, so do we need to have this again edit profile at the front? So though I've added right now, separated these two things, run test and edit profile. And yeah, like some other minor changes. So
A question, as we go to edit the profile, if changes are made to the profile, does that mean does that mean that we're saving a new profile, or are we updating the existing?
updating the existing
Okay, we're sure?
website.
Are-
I think like, and I can't say 100%, but I'll have to confirm that. I think it was updating the existing one only.
Okay, yeah, do it real fast if you would. Do you mind?
So this is the other server, so it's not my change.
It's misleading in that it says performance profile created. Okay, that's a little weird because it would normally just say like updated. If you
Updated is
the GraphQL that we have, the project has had a lot of trouble with, may not be working very well. So if you refresh your screen, nice. So this got edited inline, right? So it was a save operation, or it was an edit operation. So that's that aligns very well with the update that you made to have that edit button, edit profile. That's good. If you don't mind, can you do one more quick test? If you edit this one more time and change the, I don't know, like the number of queries per second or something, which is kind of weird because it should be showing at 0, but okay. You save. And have you run this test before?
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
not particularly. I was having another testing server.
Yeah, what I'm trying to figure out is that I've had the experience where I edited a profile and it saved as a new one. And I'm wondering what if
Okay.
there's a different scenario. So if you refresh your screen, please. Okay. And then the other scenario, it might be that if you have run 15 tests, so that's good. So that's similar to the scenario that I was in. So, okay, good. The last one, if you would do real fast, if you edit this one more time, make some quick change and then click run test. And maybe change the seconds down to like something else. Yeah, you see that tooltip is kind of in the way of the user making the selection. But anyway,
It should be in the. Yeah.
cool. If you do run test, and then you should be able to just click away and let it run by itself.
Yeah, that's
Cool. Do you mind doing that? And we don't really care about the results. We just want to see if there's a new performance profile. So if you click away and refresh. Okay, good. So I think that probably proves that it is an edit. So by the way, for those that use the tool, it's something important for people to recognize that if they're ever going to compare one test to the next, if they're changing the profile in between tests, that they probably don't want to compare between those two. Sudhanshu, if you go in and look at these results right here, if you were to check mark one of the results, you'll be able to, well, I don't think you can delete it.
yeah, not a particular.
Yeah. We might be, we might want to update those icons up there, just the coloring.
Yeah.
Nice. If you go back real quick, is there a different way to delete these? So just that, like you can delete the entire profile, which then deletes all the tests. And so, okay. Okay. Cool. Anybody else have comments or questions on the functionality? Well, you guys think about it. Another one is that we say load test, like load test created or load test, and we should be saying probably performance test. I know this isn't your changes. Ideally, you would be showing your changes, but cool. Anybody else got feedback, comments? Did you confirm whether or not what the deal is with the predefined statistics? Does there need to be a connected Prometheus?
Sorry. Yeah, like it was giving a 404, like page not found. So I think it was not able to gather that like pre-configured Prometheus. I think it's not connected to the.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not. Yeah, Sudhanshu, just say
Yeah.
no. Just say no.
No,
You
no.
didn't test it. No, you don't know. Okay. Okay. Still an outstanding item. Good. This is helpful. We've got this helps.
I'll see on any other issues. If while testing, I'll find.
Nice.
So thank you for your update, Sudhanshu. Next up, we have this UI update from Anuj on migrating error boundary. So I'll take a look if we have Anuj on call. Looks
Yes,
like
sir, I'm on the
we
call.
do. Yeah, please go ahead and share your screen, walk us through your change.
So, that I was working on to migrate the error boundary component from class-based to function-based. Last week we discussed about this, and Abid Sofi told me to do some changes, and this is right now.
I wonder like it's only a 7, like you have basically removed this like most of the lines. So I think it's like we can directly use as per the line of changes I can say in this code, like this error boundary directly to the like in the layout rather than just creating another component of error boundary using sustain error boundary. So you can directly use the error boundary and remove this particular page, like this directory error boundary.js, because you are
Um,
just
so,
importing the component and exporting. So I think you can directly use an error boundary anywhere.
yeah, I also thought that, but
But yeah, like yeah, that's something.
There's also a comment in the chat box from Ian about assistant function not having their boundary callback. So, and also unless you have like 116 commits, I wonder if those are
yeah,
not pertinent to the
this comment got when I was rebasing because my DCU error
Do you
got
mind, do you mind including only those that are pertinent to the issue?
um I I will try to do that.
Yeah, thanks. So let's see if you have any more feedback. Yeah, so it looks like it. I recommend you to take a look at the comment in chat box, Anuj. Thank you for your updates.
Yeah, I mean, that's good feedback. We should bring it up in the call.
Okay. So Ian, do you mind talking on it?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, so the system dare boundary, I don't think it takes a function as a callback when I was looking at the definition of the component as it's defined in the assistant library. So it looks like it uses like a React error boundary package that internally handles the error itself. So I just wanted to clarify that if we need to pass in the handle error or not on that previous PR that we were just looking at.
Um,
Yeah, you are right. Like internally uses that same React error boundary. So we don't have to pass a handle error, especially.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, like we can pass any custom or like any component we need to, like a different type of component we want to use rather than what's there in the already in the assistant. But that can be override.
Yeah, the child component that it renders can be just is a pass through, but like the function that's called on air is not overridable, right? Because it's just a log in and of itself.
Yeah.
So I think you had a function definition for handle air. I don't think we need that in that PR is what I'm trying to get to the.
Yeah. I think I didn't saw
Okay.
that, but yeah.
Cool. That's all from me. Thanks.
So thank you, Ian and Sudhanshu. Next up, Pranjal sent word that I will not be able to attend the call. So I'll be dropping this link in chat. And next update is from Jerens on Canvas snapshot and other commit show updates. So
Hey guys,
Jerens, are
just
you all
before,
set?
yeah, just sorry to interrupt, but just before we move off the error boundary, there's probably an item that's worth noting. And that is that part of what we're hopeful for when when an unexpected issue occurs is that, well, I guess I'm gonna make a statement, but it's really something of a question for the project. In this extension, the Canvas one, it perpetually has a small feedback component here in case people want to offer feedback. And one of the things that it does, as it uses the same assistant error boundary, one of the things that it does and needs to do a better job at is to, when an error boundary occurs and there's an error message captured or some details about whatever it was that occurred, is to pop out and autofill this feedback form so that people are really encouraged and to send feedback and to let us know that there's a problem. And I guess so that's a statement. The question then becomes, is that desirous? Do we think that the rest of the project, Meshery, would benefit from that same behavior? So if they were to go here and something didn't work and they get a relatively clean message saying, oops, that whatever the error boundary is showing, do we think that it's advantageous to also then have the feedback form come up, and if someone submits, like send it out to like the developers at meshery.io to like one of the mailing lists?
I guess, do you have any usage data on how often errors are happening, or just wondering about like signal to noise ratio, if that would be, beneficial, or if there's just a lot of noise in that, or.
Yeah. For the time that, I think for the time that feedback form has been there in the Canvas extension, I think the feedback form has been submitted 3 times. I think so. It could be 2 or it could be 4.
Yeah.
And so it's been there a while.
Just curious if there's some top flows that we could hook it up to and then do like a POC on, if it gets triggered and if they're meaningful and if that should extend versus just doing all or nothing right now. Is there kind of a.
Actually, I'm going to open up the conversation a little bit more to like telemetry in general. It'd be nice to know, sometimes it would be nice to know even that there's not an error, that like someone ran a test and they had success and so did a lot of people, or that people sat here going like this, going, what's going on? This is terrible UX. I don't know what we think it's nice, but they may not. And so there's some telemetry, whether it's about bugs in general or just, usage, be really nice to have. It's a little bit, there's some function. So it's been something of a sensitive topic within open source in general. There is open to CNCF projects. There are a number of resources. I don't know if this is the right place to go look. I want to try to answer your question a little bit more, because there's something that we can potentially do here. Some amount of the resources that are available to Meshery as a project some of those are listed on contribute.cncf.io. Resources looks like a place to go look. Project services, okay. Here's a collection of services that are available to projects, and depending upon what maturity level your project is at. Somewhere in here, there is a list of tools that some of which that are like either approved or are approved and paid for. And if I could quickly find it, all right, I think this is what I'm looking for, is like SCARF for advanced analytics for container and artifact distribution, package installation, and web traffic. So some amount of analytics for your open source project. By the way, I'm eyeballing this thing. Is like, Maybe there's someone on the call that wants to go explore whether or not this would be helpful. This would be helpful in general, Dosu. It would also be nice, actually, just as I'm expanding and digressing, that it'd be really nice if we had a chatbot for Meshery docs. And I don't know if there's one of these up here or not, but so Scarf comes to mind, Ian, as like part of that sort of general telemetry or like bug reporting or analytics challenge. And this one being approved, and I guess if it has to be paid for, that the CNCF is, sponsoring it.
Okay.
I'm not familiar with it, so I don't know if these events include errors or not, and so
I guess I could write up a one pager on it unless someone has some immediate familiarity with it. I don't.
I don't. Does anybody else on the call? But for my part, Ian, I'd be willing to, hey, I don't know how to, I'm willing to sponsor this, or like, hey, if you're inclined to spend some time looking at it and maybe just, not only writing it up or just seeing how it might be useful, but also trying it out, or us putting it into an edge release or putting it somewhere so we can put our hands on it and get some info, I'll help.
Yeah, sure. Happy to help.
Nice. I'll stand behind you and support so while you lead the way. So that's cool. I think that would be, it's certainly worth investigating. And so next topic I interrupted is, what do we have? Jarens.
I'm currently working with the connection wizard. This is a part of the canvas. If you go to the link page and you can find this one. And also like there are an error here, but when you click, I made an error. So error already received it. And the fix for this is because like we are missing RTK generating. It's not generating in the production. So I already add them. So next release would be fine. And I also have like the comments and the snapshot template. I'm changing it a bit to make it working. And any feedback regarding of this one?
Yeah, I guess I'll say this, like, so there's two things. One, Jarens, if you click the org drop down where it says layer 5 at the top by your avatar, in that drop down for the org selector, does it have, okay, it doesn't have the CNCF hub, but I thought I'd pointed out that like one of the discussions that hopefully we'll be having at KubeCon is continuing our discussions with the CNCF about their potential, like the CNCF's potential offering of this cloud component, this Meshery provider, as one of those project services, that list that we were just looking at, where it's like, oh, you can use Scarf and you can use Dosu, and like one of the things we're looking to have on there is like there's a CNCF hub and you can go use it, and many projects benefit, and so that's in part why we end up talking about this remote provider as much as we do. It would be more evident if Jaren's user was part of the CNCF hub org, because then it restyles and is CNCF branded. And so that's one thing. There's a deck that talks about what the CNCF hub would be. I'll link to it in Slack so you guys can comment on it. Maybe it doesn't make sense for the CNCF to have a hub or maybe it does. Part of what we're trying to accomplish here with Meshery and with some of the things that Layer 5 does is to like bring collaboration and collaboration tools to more of those to us, those that are focused in this, cloud native infrastructure. And so if there's a CNCF hub, that's part of that's aligned with that mission. Okay. A different, so I'll drop a link to that deck in the Slack. A different thought then, a different thing to highlight is that hopefully next week we'll be announcing like Canvas in beta and trying to tell the world to come check out the work that a lot of you have been doing. When we do, on the Canvas landing page, there's 3 options for like how to get started with this extension, the Canvas extension. The option in the middle is import your existing infrastructure as code manifests from GitHub or from your GitHub repo or repos. When someone clicks on that, they come here, they come to this GitHub connection wizard. And so this stands to be a very highly prominent flow for users to go through. So to the extent that we go out and make some noise about this extension and this new offering here, canvas.new, when people land, the button right in the middle of the page will be import from GitHub. So any bugs that we have in the GitHub connection wizard, we got to work through those kinks quickly. And so Jarens, thanks for, pushing on that. Has anyone on the call tried to import from GitHub or, tried to establish that connection? And if you haven't, I encourage you to try. It'd be helpful to see if there's any bugs. You might have a different scenario or a different situation than others. And so you might uncover a different bug. One thing with with the GitHub connection that happens is that when you establish it through this wizard, the manner in which this remote provider connects to GitHub is through an app, a GitHub app. Okay, and if your GitHub user has permissions to repos and to organizations to authorize an app, you can continue. If your GitHub user doesn't have that permission, then you might get stuck. You might have to request that an app be approved by your GitHub administrators. And that can be a sticking point for people. One of the ways to circumvent that is to also support a connection to GitHub using an individual user's personal access token. This wizard and the Golang behind it doesn't support that yet. And I think that will be a sticking point. So just a couple of thoughts and feedback. And Jarens, one of the challenges that we've had is that when people go through this wizard, they connect to a repo and this provider starts scanning the repo and looking for YAML files and Helm charts and things, that it does a clone of whatever repo the person is importing, and that clone can take a little while. And have we done anything with respect to the UX here to help indicate to users that like scanning is in progress and to be patient?
I still take a look with the worker because like we've seen a lot of like Go concurrency there to the background. So I still figuring out like the wizard, the worker, how they are parsing out of the repository.
Do you feel like it might be, is this a point of investigation, ongoing investigation for you? Like to look and see if there's an indicator that we can use.
I think like it's like better if we scan like the first like a GitHub, we need to go in for each folder. So we not give like fetch all of them at single one. That's maybe.
Yeah, okay, I got you. So if the repo has a bunch of folders and some files, maybe not to go all the way deep in the first folder, but rather just list the contents of the directory, and then in real time, when they choose to go into a folder list, do that folder. Is that good? That makes sense. That'll help. Now I'll chat with you more about it, if I can help. Thank you, Jarens. I don't know if anybody else has comment.
So thank you, Jennings. I'll ask if you had any other items to share as well, or that was it.
Also, like I'm working with the Meshery, so already refactoring it to use like directly hit the GitHub, not like the API itself. Yeah, basically it's ability to get commit star for the changes.
Nice. That seems to be working without a flaw. It seems to be working pretty well.
Yeah, all right. So I have shared the PR's link in chat. So we will now move on to next item, and that is from Ankita. So Ankita, do you mind sharing these updates?
I had a couple of open PRs with regards to MUI V4 to V5 migration. A couple of them have been approved. One of them has just got merged today. So if you head on to Playground, you can probably check the new workspaces page out. We have a set of new colors that are there. So would love to get some feedback if people are, I'm not sure if that's up right now. If people can go through it and share how it looks, how that new thing feels, the color schema, etc. So this one's up. Then this was from Lifecycle Workspace page. Then we've got another PR that's from Lifecycle Environment. This PR couldn't get merged because there's a merge conflict, which I'll be resolving tonight. But the rest of the changes have been approved here. So then we'll have this environments page up as well. We've got an extension repo, like an extension page migration done. A similar set of merge conflicts are arising, so I have to resolve all of these so that one after another they can get merged and we can have them pretty soon. And then we have got a dashboard page PR up. The new ones in this list would be the configuration PRs, the filters, the designs and catalogs. There is an issue with this as well regarding merge conflicts. And the last one would be the performance page, which is up here. The only thing that's left is the profiles inside performance page. But this is pretty much how the performance page currently looks like, the newer version of it. There's an issue with how these three are aligned, but I should be able to resolve that and we can have this up as well. So that's with all of these different pages that we have got enlisted here on Meshery, the status of how close they are to getting migrated. The work is done. I just have to resolve some conflicts, and one after another, we can keep merging them and start seeing the changes. So that's an update on the MUI V5. I'll just pause for a bit if we've got any suggestions or feedback on this.
Curious what Antoinette thinks. Cool. Hey, Antoinette, are you there? Do you have any feedback by chance?
Yes.
Oh.
I am reviewing the ones that I could review, but I haven't finished reviewing the rest of it. So I'll provide some feedback.
Thank you so much. That would really be valuable.
Nice. Hey, yeah, so what does this mean for us being, Meshery being completely off of V4? and onto V5? Like how far away is that? What's left?
Apart from these, like once these are merged, something that would be left that we have to go through would be these settings, those pages. If I'll have to give a quick review on if something else is missing in those pages, and an overall repo review. There are a couple of things inside this repo that are not that weren't present in these pages, but they are still MUI v4 related. I'll have to get a quick heads up from Abid, Sudhanshu, and Antoinette if those pages or those components need an update. If not, then we should be good. And if yes, I'll try to wrap and pull those up at the earliest. With that, we should be done with this thing. And we were maintaining a sheet, a progress sheet. I'm not sure if I can pull that up real quick, but all the pages that needed and the components specifically that needed these changes, they should be up.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that's what I was going to ask about is the sheet. Like, yeah, where, how,
Just a
what,
second. I can pull that up.
does this mean that we would be on, like, Antoinette, do you have any other, at one point you were trying to organize us around getting to V5 and you highlighted any discrepancies with the different Node versions and React versions, MUI versions, and Next.js versions. And so is this just a V5 upgrade? Would any other frameworks be updated as well?
No, for now is the majority of the work that we were intending to have done was to upgrade version 4 to version 5. Then everything else will kind of fall in place. I'll have to go back and review again on how much left to do. And I can go and update a couple of the open issues that I have regarding that. But no, the bulk of it is just migrating from version 4 to version 5. Everything else would just kind of already been done, meaning that we already converted some of the components from class to function, and then anything that was done as a workaround using a context provider or anything else with Redux and the there's another one I was trying to think of. All of that is already in place. And so the rest of it is just moving on to the last part, meaning just finish the conversion and then test to make sure that the packages will work with the newer ones and anything that we need to remove. So I'll be doing another check sometime this week and update a couple of the issues.
Yep. Ankita, thank you. Ankita, is this, so this isn't necessarily an accurate reflection of where we are, is it? Or
No, this is just a tracker that we were internally maintaining of the pages that needed migration and how far we are along with these and what's the status and what other contributors are also contributing to. So I have to update this sheet. There are a couple that are missing. There still would be a question like I hope we are really close to MUI5 because these pages covered most of these. There was a requirement for us moving to a newer version of Next that requires MUI v6. So maybe we can have a discussion with Sudhanshu and Antoinette on how, like, once v5 is done, how should we go ahead with v6 as well? Things inside that I should look into because we are currently v5 wouldn't help us migrate to any of the other changes that we want for Next and latest. But if we go to v6, we can. It'll unlock a lot of other things.
Well, actually, the last time I checked for version 6, there are a couple of APIs that are breaking. So in order to do that, I would suggest that we make a init beta release in the system to test the version 6 before we even do that for Meshery UI. But it is part of the plan, just not yet at the moment. But yes, I'm aware of the version 6. So.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing that up because we do need to keep an eye on that because the version 6 they have some features that are not there in the version 5, and that would be actually helpful for us, but it won't really do much for us at the moment since we haven't even gotten out of React 17 and 16 yet. So once we're out of that, then we'll be able to move to version 6.
Great. So, Lee, to sum it all up, the ETA for this would look like we are currently on an 85% because there are merge conflicts in these PRs. Once they are merged and we get a heads up that none of the other components need an update, we should be on 100, and that will probably be up over the weekend or before the next Meshery call. I'm not sure if that answers your question on the
Yeah, that helps. That's
percentage.
good. That's great. Yeah, spreadsheets like this or lists like this are always really helpful.
So apart from that, I guess I could move on if we don't have anything else to bring up regarding MUI v5 at this point. We've got a call to action that we also made the past week. So if there are folks who are new to this call or new to Meshery and you feel, irrespective of having enough dev skills or not, if you believe you want to, get started and go ahead, check things out that we offer. We've got a couple of beginner friendly pull request like issues up here that you can take a look at, go through. All that you have to do is create a couple of templates, sample templates like this, based on the description provided. And if you've got any questions in and around, feel free to add it here, ask me, and we should be able to help you and get you started and get you going. And if you want to work on these issues, please go ahead and add a comment, and either of the maintainers would love to assign it to you at the earliest. So that's up for the call. For volunteers up here, we'd take a moment to appreciate one of the contributors, Gautam, who has taken trouble to go through, work on, and publish a sample design here, which is relationships like entity relationship diagrams. How you can create one with Meshery, or like using Canvas, the different tools and features that we offer. So, yep, a huge shout out to Gautam, a moment of appreciation for him. We will be doing this every week, so whichever contributor has the highest number of templates that they've covered or that they've published, we'd be taking a moment to give them or make them feel appreciated at this call. So for today, it's Gautam who's done it, so clap and applause for him. And hoping next week we have some other folks up on this list as well. So that's all that I had to share for the day from my end. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks a lot, Ankita, for your updates and for call for actions. So next up, we'll be having this item from Aditya on fixing the logos. So do we have Aditya on call? Yep, we do.
Yeah, baby. Hi. So I'll just share my screen. So this is the logo that I was supposed to fix, and it's a really small update, like more like a blocker, because this is using the assistant package, the workspace icon, and in the assistant package, so it's using icon props for setting the properties in our workspace icon, and I noticed that icon props is not having secondary fill for this workspace icon. Because only icon props is being imported over here and that is being used, because of which I'm not able to send the set the secondary fill as black. So I can like fix it directly by importing it from the assets which are available in the cloud repo, but I don't think that's a good practice because everything else is being imported from Layer 5 system. So I just wanted Lee, your thoughts, like should I do it directly or should I like make a PR insistent and then use that?
Yeah, Sudhanshu. Or Amit or anybody. There's Jaren's or Antoinette or Ankita.
So Aditya, you have to change in the assistant repo. So
Okay.
available the props that we want in the system, made a PRs, and they use that icon to the other place that you want.
Okay. Got it. Yeah, that was all for me.
Thanks, Aditya. Next up, we have this item from Alero on AWS controller template. So are you all set to present, Alero?
Yeah. Okay, so while I was working on the tutorial for deploying an EC2 instance with Meshery, I created this template. Can't think I have an issue on my screen. So I created this template to just show a tutorial with pictures on how to deploy the Helm charts, the VPC resources, and the EC2 instance. Sorry, I can't move my screen. Yeah, so I'll just send a link to the design on the chat. I have a problem in my screen. So that's all I wanted to share today. Thank you.
Yep. Wani, is there a conjoining Meshery doc?
Yes. Okay, thank you.
And is that linked inside of here?
Okay, no, it's not. But I will. I'll add the link here.
Thank you, Vani.
Okay, I think it's
All right, so next up are items from me, so I'll just quickly cover them. So for the first one, we had some of the workflows named meshmap.yaml. I just renamed them to the newer name canvas.yaml, and then there was this ask, and that is on Meshery docs. On a couple of sections, we show some recent discussions that are happening on our community forum, which by the way is at discuss.layfair.io. So we were just using these two tags, CTRL Meshery. So there is no renaming needed right here. So that was one update. Next up, we also have docs on Cloud and Canvas in here, and we also wanted to have the recent discussions on here, in Canvas sections. So all these posts that are tagged Canvas, they should be displayed here, the recent posts. So I also made a PR for that and it's merged right now. And you all can, whenever you go into any sections of the Canvas docs, you will be able to see these recent discussions. And then this is about adding the WASM filters back. And so the only change was remaining was fixing some references to the compatibility images, and that was fixed. So now all the WASM filters will be back in catalog, though they are not of high quality. So probably we'll need to unpublish them and then republish some of the high quality WASM filters, but this is also good to go. So that will be all. Let's move on to the next item, and that is from Amit. So create system components. I'll ask if Amit is all set to present.
I will say this. Yeah, so I created the detail page that we had into the system components, so we can use it onto the other places and use it in the catalog tab that we had. So if we
Amit, I wonder if we are not able to hear you properly because your audio is breaking, I guess. And I hope this is not only for me, so I'll go ahead and share my screen. So while we're waiting for Amit to, for the bandwidth of him getting restored, can I ask her to go next and share her update?
Yes, sure. So I was just working on one of the template issues that Ankita just mentioned. So I was trying to create a template for GCP architecture. Currently, I'm done with creating the architecture, but I'm yet to add this step-by-step process on how to make this template on Meshery. So yes, that's all I had to share. I'm just working on this template.
Thank you, Argun. So let's wait for 5 seconds if anyone has any feedback.
Yep, Hargun, apart from the step by step, we're also adding a section which is kind of a quick note on what are the different components or the features that you've used here. Or probably it's also for the others on call who would later on work on this. So if you could highlight, where you're picking these icons from, which is annotations, because a lot of folks do not know. They might go up to orchestration and bring those up and then try configuring. So exactly, an icon library like this, you need not separate them and mention it. If you feel you can do it and it's not much of an hassle, please go ahead. Let's just mention where you're getting these icons from, and a quick intro section for this entire template that we'll be having as to what this does, who can use it, in which cases they can use it. Just a brief. Adding those two would, apart from the step by step, would make it look amazing. And this
Okay,
still looks perfect, so kudos.
got it. Thank you for the feedback.
Thank you, Hargun. So I'll then start sharing my screen. And we have 60 seconds, so that would mean we'll circle back to Amit. Amit, can you share update if your bandwidth is stable?
Yes, I will try. So I had an update regarding the converting this detail page into the assistant model. So I created a PR that convert this uh, page to different component into assistant model, so we can use it into the separate space in the catalog model that we had to show the details of the particular design. So I updated to this, and I implemented one feature. If anyone can copy and share the new link, that will keep into the playground Meshery and open this same model with this detail. So the share functionality, it keeps into this playground and show the details we had.
Amit, so there are some comments for you in the chat box.
Okay.
And yeah,
Yeah,
any
no,
feedback?
no, nothing. I was just saying, check out those colors. Those are rich, expensive, sexy, whatever you want to call them. Great. Hey, good. So some of the work that Awani was just sharing, one of the contributors that was here prior, Deepak Reddy, looks like just randomly we've landed on one of his designs. So he had created a design for AWS CloudWatch, published it to the catalog based on, there's about 211, around about 211 specifically, published designs. I'm just estimating like 211. I don't know if it's like specifically exactly 200. I'm doing a terrible job of making jokes today, but anyway, he published one. And so the fruits of his labor can now be seen not only directly within this particular extension, but also if maybe if we're sharing here, if you go back into, but also in the main Meshery navigation section under configuration, there is catalog here. And nope, there's his Deepak's design. It's represented, this is the way in which the catalog gets represented here. Okay, good. If you go to edit, there's a, gosh, how do we refer to this? This is the design configurator, this style interface. You'll notice that it has a very similar form and settings as to what you often see inside of the Canvas extension. But I figured I'd just point out that, like, as Amit is enhancing the catalog experience in the Canvas extension, there's also the catalog experience over here. If Sudhanshu is listening, maybe we would do a quick test right now just to confirm that, like, one of the things that you can do as a user, whether you're signed in to a remote provider or you're signed into the local provider, that one of the first class extensions, since it's available in local provider and remote, is this Meshery catalog. The content for that is, it's meshery.io/catalog. And we'd probably see the same AWS CloudWatch out here, hopefully. Good, there it is. So we've got a few different ways to look at the same content. So those that create content, they get their works get represented quite a bit, hopefully in a very similar fashion. Of what Jaren's was referring to earlier about GitHub connections, and part of that is like enabling of the taking of snapshots of designs. So the designs that are out here published in GitHub are snapshotted every so often. And if a rendering and a snapshot has been successfully taken, you'll see it on the front. What I wanted to do was point out that even that first class extension, so to speak, the catalog one, you should be able to turn it off and then see that if you didn't want external content, maybe if you're running Meshery in your environment and you're like, look, I don't want anyone else's designs, or I don't want users of my Meshery deployment using anyone else's designs, we're going to have our own catalog, or we're going to curate our own designs, then that just by way of example, that's an extension that can be turned on and off. And it's nice to see that works. If you come back here, I think the ability to enable and disable that extension is in two places. Here's the catalog. This is, I forget the name of the contributor that was pointing out a similar sort of stateful concern about adapters. They were pointing it out recently. So catalog was disabled, okay. And okay. Anyway, maybe it doesn't work very well from that page. Or I guess once disabled, it doesn't really want to come back on. I'm not sure. But that's why it's called out Sudhanshu before we started, was to like, maybe you want to make an issue about this. Maybe there's maybe some state that we're not globally tracking. Good. All right.
So thanks, Lee. Looks like we are 6 minutes over the time, and so I'll be quickly sharing a couple of things. And the first one is this community calendar. So throughout the week, we have various meetings and that you all can catch up with. So for that, you will have to subscribe to community calendar. I'll be shortly sharing this link in chat. Then also do not forget, if you know someone or if you yourself are attending the KubeCon and Cloud Native Con in person, you can visit Meshery booth. We have a couple of sessions lined up, so it will be great to have you there. So I'll be also dropping these events in chat. Yeah, so with that, thanks again for joining the call and sharing your updates. We'll see you all next Wednesday. Till then, bye.
See you guys.